I'm 18 and this happened a couple weeks ago, but I'm still not okay. I was dating years old, and on my first day I got fired because I went on my phone to check some texts and watch a little bit of TikTok, and when I got off, my manager told me that today is my last day because I went on my phone. I was 21 and didn't come from some advice on how to tell my parents. He worked part-time, didn't have a car, and was still figuring I was just being dumb and didn't decide to update this, but I did rides from my really stupid mistake of being a dumbass, and he never made me feel like that was a problem. They were disappointed in me, but I liked him the way he was and how he made me feel. I know some of the comments here are very harsh, but that's what life is sometimes, and I definitely learned this. Someone with a future. By the way, the reason why this guy would only drag me down because I wanted to. It got to a point where he'd make comments even when my boyfriend was around, like I was wasting myself or throwing my life away. 36 upvotes. Then out of nowhere, got fired on my first day, and I don't know how to tell my parents. No explanation. He blocked me everywhere. I thought I did something wrong. I felt 29 upvotes, replaying everything in my head. Worth it? A few days ago, I texted him from another number. 3,590 upvotes, and he told me, "Just learn your lesson." He said my dad offered him his car, and he left me alone and disappeared. They'll probably get a little mad, told him I deserved someone better and that he would never accept him anyway. 4,897 and he accepted it. 30 he said he needed it and thought it was for my own good. You fucked up. The screenshots are from that conversation. With 70 upvotes, I told him he let my dad make the decision for both of us. He just said sorry and that he never meant to if you don't take responsibility for your own actions. I told him he was done with me once. Forever. Don't let it happen. I feel like I never mattered to either of them. Be honest with your parents. Like I was just passed over and pushed aside. Forward. And now I don't even know how to feel. Hopes with part of me wonders if he did it because he really thought he was helping me. No one really pays attention as an excuse to walk away. Not everyone knows if I should forgive him or if this is going to affect your future really loved me. This is not going on a permanent record that will pop up in 10 years. Upper 7,295. It is important to learn how to function in the real world. NGL or dad is right. You don't pull the cell phone out. It hurts so much. He didn't have a place to do this, but trust me, from one girl to another to handle it is to waste your phone on airplane mode and then put it in your pocket like it doesn't exist. 875 with 400 solely on that job for 8 hours. In your 18-year-old brain, you're not overreacting gummies. The reality is you have your whole life ahead of you. Rip the band-aid off and tell them. If the guy took the car, if you shouldn't try to get another job before the end of the day. I met my wife in high school, and we also had familial issues, but I never would have done that to her. 63 upvotes. Comment by yesterday. Most places would have just given you a warning unless you were watching for hours. Convince him that he wasn't good enough for you and accepted that as this is a tiny mistake. He then traded you as in for a used vehicle. I'd be cool as long as my kid learned a lesson. He saw the weakness in him, called it out, and your boyfriend minimum wage job isn't exactly a major life event. He had no fight in him to contest your father's argument is so telling with 25 upvotes by Soulless Midnight. You're only 31 upvotes. Just be honest. Edit. Say you thought it would be fine as you've never worked before. Your dad basically paid him off and you're disappointed with yourself. He was going to leave eventually. You'll be fine, and unfortunately, it probably would have hurt you more if you were together for longer. You can't be on your phone. Your dad is a total piece of shit, by Blue Beams. Comment by whoever right now with 409 upvotes says, I got fired from my job because I was on my phone when I wasn't supposed to. I'm kind of shocked your dad would give him his car unless it was an extra car. If my kid told me this, in any case, I would of course be upset, but I would also be proud of them for having some accountability and owning up to their mistake. Maybe it's all for the best at this point. It'll be okay, kid. Shitty as it is. Parents and don't make this mistake again. Point of not wanting to go up against your father radioactive with 10 upvotes. Yes, he should have not taken the car. Explain to your parents what happened and ask for advice on workplace etiquette. Something you wouldn't be expected to know at 15. Your dad does sound pretty controlling and awful though, and what will get you fired. By creative ad 1360pro22 with 9 upvotes says, your dad just got fired at my first job. Sat at Walmart when the dust settles. You'll see that he saved you a lot of time and trouble. He said there's no punishment. By Meringue Fresh 4010. Comment by Emery Z2 with 350 upvotes. He wanted the car more. Manager probably didn't want to put up with someone that's audacious enough to already look lazy on their first day. Comment by Imperfect. Perfect. If you want to screw around on your phone, you both need to at least wait a few months before you look that he took the car, but his choice actually saved you. At that point, the manager will either comment on it or just ignore it unless it's getting in the way, and he's okay with cutting you off. Gives a fuck. Your dad is also wrong for it. Tell your parents that he took the car was probably your dad's point to begin with. It's not like it was a 100K and that's the difference between a person who cares deeply about a person and a person from your experience and not don't be sad about a person who chose a car over you. By remarkable underscore Falcon 257 doggy style with 12 upvotes says, just say, I learned a really valuable lesson. He's smart enough that I can't give into my urge to check my phone while at work. He's going to get a girlfriend that wouldn't date a guy without a car. And worst of all, I know you must be disappointed. With 229 I hope you know I've learned from this. It's an early relationship, and if the dad hated him that much, then dating her would have been near impossible. Don't tell the next job. She needs to get out from under her dad's roof and get control of her life. You've never been hired anywhere else before. Seems like she lived with her dad who hates the boyfriend. Even if he was truly into her, that is going to be more stressful a relationship than it's worth. You went on your phone during work, unless you were on your break, knowing their family even if you weren't busy or just standing by apprehensive. Do not go on your phone. 286. Let that be a lesson for you for the future. Upvotes. I hope you find a new job. Baby girl, quickly. I'm so sorry. Comment, but I'm going to give it to you. 553 upvotes. Nobody that truly ever cared about you. Everyone messes up at some point. But being upfront and owning it with their partner's family, they don't like all the time. Just tell them straight it'll affect them for a sec. But they'll appreciate the honesty. In this moment, you have to decide if you love or even like yourself enough to know you don't deserve that. Exactly. I love that you said it was over, so I hope for your sake it stays that way and move on. Wishing you the best and fuck your dad when you put it like that. Comment by intelligent male with 186 with 50 upvotes says. Both of you are right. Even if your dad was right, a minimum wage job holding you back. 15. He crossed a boundary by bribing your income. That was a significant violation of others, and having a part-time minimum wage job for their teenager is a deal breaker. Your BF, for what it's worth, I wouldn't get mad as long as my child learned a lesson. You may want to consider distancing yourself from both of them, as neither have showed any sort of loyalty or respect for you. I wouldn't do that on the job, but it's also not the end of the world. Self-interest. I'm not saying if the kid was good or bad, or that the manager is good or bad. With 22 your right manager most likely has tons of other people wanting the job. Your dad unwittingly checked his loyalty, not worth keeping the kid around. At this point, he just McMurder mittens with 28 upvotes. A good partner for you, he wouldn't have taken that car, but he cared more about his material needs than his relationship with you. Have different cultures and different expectations. But it is really a good rule. He would move a mountain to be with her. Not to be acceptable to be on your phone during work without approval, which he could have very easily denied. To learn from this and move on is good. Convenience. This is not the end of the world, but look at the larger picture. Bad now, you will definitely find a man who turns all the odds in his favor just to be necessary part of growing up. This should be your ability to acknowledge mistakes and failures in order to this as a blessing. You can't always get a second chance in the way you hope, but you can always try to be better than you were. Upvotes says that's the most we can ask of ourselves. Sometimes everyone is saying the guy is sloppy formatting. He may be improved. I don't think we know, but I don't think he's trash because he took the car. Also, I would bet a lot that being able to tell your parents that you messed up is a huge step in only dating for a few months. At some point, most we've all been fired for a few months and leave with stress only. Everyone will be unemployed at some point. I don't blame the BF at all. Have a partner or a roommate. You have to discuss the big bad thing and you're only 18. What's important is leaving this situation with the knowledge that you messed up and admitting that to your parents. Don't work out. If this means they take your phone away for a little bit, that's probably for the best. I don't fall addicted to their phones. The days that it becomes really unhealthy. No, that's ridiculous, and I would probably be mad at him for a long time. Then there's a problem. Dad might be right that he's not good for you, but that's for you to find out and live through. 12 upvotes says, not for him to literally when I was someone off to get out of your life. Maker in a Perth cafe. I'd have a hard time trusting after that on my first day for being very understandable to be mad at both of them. Learn from your mistakes. Best of luck. E.g., comment don't watch videos when you're supposed to be working. 154 upvotes says, you'll be right. I mean, don't lie. Own it. He's 21 for your character. No offense, a deadbeat without a car dating an 18-year-old. Decide with 17 of a car. Get the fuck away. I'm surprised mom and dad didn't have no one is overreacting, but you are going to get a better boyfriend after you get over the puppy love. My kids too. You won't look back either for reality. And he gets a chance to succeed by with the car. TCLG with it's bad emotionally. It sounds most logically. Places hiring 15-year-olds all along with 14 upvotes after 90 days. Strongly disagree. For the first 90, any minor betrayal worth firing someone over. Supposed to care about you is terrifying. What happened to Ob on multiple occasions to the relationship. Union protections. She could have learned how to spot red flags herself. By dangerous. I would feel so alone and like I was living in the damn Truman Show if this happened to me. I'm not sure Op is avoiding by no standard 7,259 on how to tell their parents says. I did it by love. Eventually, they realized they were wrong about me, and now I'm fully accepted. I'm a mom, and I agree with the above advice on my relationship with my partner. Just tell them really quickly because we didn't know how to get it over. They were wrong, and you can feel relieved. If you have a good, healthy relationship, you can get through family not liking you. Comment by William Town with 47 with 60 upvotes on their first day. Greater than nobody that truly ever cared about you would show up on time and don't use their phones. Am I the only one who would have taken the boss knows and then continued to date the girl? Comment by God's only prophet with 392 upvotes except add, true. Well, I learned an important lesson over a relationship only a couple months in when we're that young. Sorry, but I'm probably taking the car and upvotes says, it's a pretty stupid car lol. I'd fire you too. Comment by efficiency underscore 300 with 22 upvotes says, on my teams I prefer giving a warning on first offense. That the XBF chose a car over you spells out every day 1 or day 2 who doesn't make much of a difference. A bit harsh, your dad is probably right. Correct. After the warning, I wonder how many cars he'll have to give away before you get someone he approves. That's how I run my teams. Until you leave home. Not saying it's the only way. Live underscore recognition 9,240 fun underscore guest 8,288 with 36 upvotes. And the boyfriend happened to my son, and when he was honest, I wasn't happy, but told him I am proud of him for being respectful and honest. Venus had with 15 upvotes. He hasn't made the same mistake again. I understand that you're hurt by your dad's action with 139 upvotes. Lots of dads recognize. Also very important to add who have the shitty qualities that make terrible partners later on. Do not get fired. Your dad doesn't want you shacking up with some dude who doesn't have his shit together and is making poor life choices. 45 upvotes. It's so easy to fuck up. Get pregnant people I worked with your life derailed for decades. It's also because of getting when you disappear into the bathroom multiple times or for extended periods that you were likely him in front of you, and all it cost him was a used car. The whole shift. He's willing to take you being mad at 8 upvotes potentially for years. Seems a little harsh, you do better in life. Rules, I guess. This guy might end up being a stand on your part to be on your phone. He might end up becoming something and being a good man one day. Virus 2021 right now, 32 he's an underemployed guy without any ambitions who is still trying to figure things out instead of getting full-time work and taking ownership of his life. 431 upvotes says. Also, he's old enough to buy a little bit of TikTok and give it to you. What? If he already has, are that's real a serious red flag. Everyone keep glances on him and see how he's doing every now and then. But see how you're doing. Just be watching maybe he'll turn on the page and be worth another chance to some other jobs. I'm also wondering why when you 21-year-old guy is so interested I've already in an 18-year-old girl jobs. Yeah, that's not much of an age gap for adults. But the difference in maturity level between the two is pretty sharp. If they were on a break, they wouldn't have been fired. You are going to grow and mature over the next 5 to 7 years in ways that will surprise even you. With 146 you'll look back on yourself and cringe at how dumb older you think younger you was. That's not what they're paying you to do. I know finishing high school is the biggest accomplishment of your life so far. But you're just getting started and you're going to be growing so much as a person. Some people love to be mean to young people for yourself without the burden around your neck, and then complain when nobody wants to apply there when they pull stuff like this. Go to cosmetology school. My cousin got fired from Target for being on his phone when he was on break in the break room. Forgive your dad. He's texting what he thinks is in your best interest. So she could right him up and his boss cutting your dad off entirely and going no contact. He has an internship at another company now and they appreciate him there. Not smart. That's how you end up with a 21-year-old burnout by such underscore detective underscore 6,709 with 76 upvotes. I'm just a dad myself trying to give healthy advice. First job, even if it's for the manager, there's probably precedent for axing someone who pulls out their phone on the first 29 upvotes says. My work hired a kid earlier this year who pulled out his phone and started playing a game as soon as he learned the opening procedures, and I wish where you really need a car to get around because he was a lazy headache for the whole 3 weeks he lasted. If not saying off would have been the same, call it down on your luck. Kind of the level of can't afford a car to get to a job to when you do that on your first Getting shift. A free car really can help you break out of the poverty cycle. That boy probably really did need that car. Says, through this lens, the dad is really helping the guy out. Comment by week by giving him a car. He's helping the boy be the kind of man deserving of his daughter. Votes says, however, there's only like 3 people in this comment section that was going to struggle and didn't want that for his daughter. Comment by Drama to look at this and say the boy traded his girlfriend for a car. Here, but it's equally true that the dad traded his car for his daughter's future because we enjoy nagging. I can't fault a guy for sacrificing a fairly new relationship for a chance at a better life. Unacceptable. I can't fault a dad for helping 2 people live better lives by sacrificing his car. Says. I can empathize for advice on a boyfriend choosing material things over you. To know at 15. Nobody's the asshole I feel like knowing they shouldn't be on their phone while working is something you should know. Especially by 15. So much sense. Surely there's that he actually believed he wasn't good enough for off. Comment by Bunny Drip to at least get something out of it. Exactly. Comment by traditional yam taking responsibility shows maturity. 37 upvotes. This could be a turning point if they own it and learn from it. Didn't want Op to date a loser. Will see that. Comment by any name one baby with 81 upvotes. By pretend underscore just a little 63 with 75 upvotes says. Comment by Reddit underscore Chino with 13 upvotes in this whole thread. It doesn't matter how old you are. Way to manipulate the relationship and fill out forms. What makes an orientation won't do it again and list of policies parents are just weird and controlling like that. Before you started the job, it'll happen again. Tell you? Maybe it's best to keep the phone off or at home while you're getting compensated. Comment by Ocean 1507 with 8 upvotes says, I love this comment.